Hi everybody, this is Rebecca Lynn Barkley, aka Boobop1970. This is my review for today. And today's review, ladies and dudes, well my friends, I promise to all of you that I will do my top 5 most strongest points of Ramin Karamu. But that will come later on, somewhere around in May or June, whenever I could do my next movie review of Tron Legacy. But for now on, I'm going to start a brand new, different type of top 5 list. And it's something that nobody has never done before. So once again, ladies and dudes, I'm going to do another top 5 list that involves one of my most favorite movies of all time, Taken 2. And this movie is so darn underrated. So for today's list will be the top 5 most epic scores from the Taken 2 soundtrack. And to tell you the truth is, I don't see a soundtrack copy of this movie, and it'll be way too hard to find. But thanks to somebody at YouTube, somebody had finally uploaded all the scores that came from in this movie, and I really enjoyed the Taken 2 score very much. And there's only 5 good scores that I frickin' enjoyed from the soundtrack and the movie. And don't get me wrong, I still love the scores from the first Taken film. I will say for both Taken 1 and 2, they are very epic in so many ways. And I just hope and pray maybe I can get both of the soundtracks so I can listen to my favorite scores all over again. But this is the reason why Taken 1 and 2 is so darn underrated, is because of the scores. The scores are frickin' amazing, and this is one of my most favorite movie scores of all time. So, without further ado, ladies and dudes, here are my top 5 most epic scores that came from this movie, Taken 2. And now let's get started on the list. At number 5 is one of the best opening themes ever in movie history. I saw some good opening themes here and there, but I think this one is the best. So for number 5 is the Taken 2 opening theme. I frickin' love that theme. It's so darn perfect for the film. And I'll never forget the beginning of the movie. You see an airplane coming by and, carrying those poor dead Papoya dudes who died in the first movie, and, some guy's gonna pick all of them up and, before the funeral scene. I really like this score. It's pretty dark, pretty edgy, it had a good rhythm to it, and all that stuff. This is a really good score, and I frickin' enjoy it very much. It's so darn epic in so many ways. So anyway, to cut this short, I decided to put the opening theme at number 5. Okay, for number 4 goes to another cool edgy score that involves the part where Brian Mills has to go back to that horrible place where he and Lenore were in, and make sure that those evil Papoya guys did not show up in that house or whatever. So anyway, for number 4 goes to the tick of the clock. Tick tock, tick tock. Now that was a really cool score. It had a nice beautiful edge to it, and it did fit to the movie pretty well. And it's all about Brian Mills has to head back to that place, try to pick up Lenore before those evil Papoya dudes shows up, and, big giant chaos will happen. And, I will say it is a pretty cool score, and I didn't know that this score also came from another movie called The Drive. I have never seen The Drive because I'm not interested in that movie, I guess. But if I ever try to see this, the movie called Drive, maybe one day I'll check it out. But anyway, I'm very happy when this score came out for Taken 2, and it's a really nice, enjoyable score to listen to. And my most favorite part about that score is the tick-tock moment in a nice, beautiful, edgy way, if you know what I mean. So, oh yeah, the reason why it's pretty darn low on my list, because I remember there was somewhere dab in the middle, it stopped the song for some reason, it's kind of a little slow, but before the slowness will stop, it'll go back to its fast pace. So, anyway, I do love the tick of the clock. It's a very cool, edgy score, and deserves to be at number 4. Okay, for number 3 goes to the most saddest score I ever listened to in my life. And I heard I did hear this score from both the ending credits and the ultimate ending for Taken 2. So, for number 3 goes to Searching for Lenore. I really do love this score. It's pretty darn epic, but also it falls full of mystery and full of sadness. And I think this may be the part where Brian Mills is still kind of heartbroken that he tried really hard to rescue the most important person of his life after he saved Kim. He wants to continue on his mission to find Lenore before it's too late. You know, what those Popoya dudes are, what they're going to do to her. Are they going to sexually harass her or something? If you know what I mean. It was really sad, very mysterious, and it's a really strong score, and I really love it very much. I wish I could say more about this score, but I just decided to put it at number 3. Okay, for number 2 was another good, dark, edgy score, but this is the most darkest score I have ever listened to. It's very dark, very edgy, and it involves the death of the main villain. So, I'm not good at pronouncing the dude's name, but I decided to change the name for the score. So, for number 2 is the death of the Popoya dude leader. I freaking love this score. It is so darn epic. And this is the big finale where Brian Mills has to talk to that guy for the very last time. You know, face to face. And Brian Mills said so many important things to that guy that he needs to give up on this mission of his. Just go back to Popoya where you belong and just get along with your children, the ones who are still living right now. I mean, this is a really cool score, and I really enjoyed the scene where Brian Mills has to finish up that evil Popoya dude. And to tell you the truth, this score kind of reminds me if John Williams should have used that score for the Schindler's List. It almost kind of reminds me of something that came from the Schindler's List. Maybe someone who died, who passed away way too soon in the film. Too bad John Williams never created that type of score. But it's very nice, pretty dark, pretty edgy, and yet it's pretty darn sad. This is one of the most sad, darkest scores I have ever listened to in my life. And I really do enjoy it from this movie. So anyway, the death of the Popoya dude leader deserves to be at number 2. And finally, the number 1 best epic score that came from the Taken 2 soundtrack is definitely the most epic one of all. And to tell you the truth is, I think this score should have fit for Batman Begins. You know, where Batman has to take the last and final showdown to face Ra's al Ghul in that train. So for number 1 is fight in the Hammam or something like that, but I'd rather call it the final showdown between Brian Mills and the Papoya dude leader bodyguard dude. I mean, I freaking love this score. And I'll never forget it when I first heard it in theaters. That was the most epic score I have ever listened to. And this is where Brian Mills and the Papoya dude bodyguard are going to their last and final showdown. You know, battle to the death. This is so darn epic. It is very strong, very edgy, and this is so... It's one of the most strongest scores ever in movie history. And I'll never forget in that Taken 2 where Brian Mills has to take that guy down for the count. And to tell you the truth is, Brian Mills got beat up so badly. I'm sure he has a few cuts and bruises, or maybe some broken ribs surrounding the part of his body. I mean, he took a big giant beatdown on that guy. I mean, seriously, this is really dark, very edgy, but it's still epic. I love that score very much, and it's very hard for me to say about this score. So anyway, the final showdown between Brian Mills and the bodyguard of the Papoya dude leader deserves to be the #1 best epic score I have ever listened to from the Taken 2 soundtrack. There you go, ladies and dudes. That wraps up my top 5 list of the most epic scores that I ever heard from the Taken 2 soundtrack. I hope you enjoyed this list. And remember, ladies and dudes, it's time for all of us to do a list to tribute one of the most greatest movies of all time that involves epic scores. And I don't care which one it is. Will it be from Batman, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Star Trek? You name it. And to tell you the truth is, what is your most favorite score that you ever heard in your life from both Taken 1 and Taken 2? Whatever it is, comment below and let me know. I would love to hear your own opinions of which score that you enjoyed the best from the most underrated movie of all time, or just one of the best movies ever that's kind of underrated to you. So anyway, that's my list. Let's hear yours. And join me next time for my top 5 list of the strongest points of Ramin Karimou. So be prepared for that list to come, and I will see you all later. Sayonara.